Lesson 38, using I and me. Be careful when you use the pronouns I and me in sentences. The pronoun I is a subject pronoun. I is used only as a subject. So remember that I is only as a subject. I is just for the subject. The pronoun me is an object pronoun. Me is used after an action verb or after a word such as at, for, of, to, or with. So me is an object pronoun. Remember, an object pronoun comes after a verb. Rosa lends me a telescope. You wouldn't say Rosa lends I a telescope, right? All right, so when you speak about yourself and another person, always name the other person first. Then follow the rules above for when to use I and me. So when you would say Rosa and I like astronomy, something that I like to remember or kind of think about is, if I eliminated this, would it make sense? I like astronomy? Yes. What if I said Rosa and me like astronomy? If I put this, me like astronomy, that doesn't make sense, right? Now look at this one. Brian shares a telescope with Rosa and me. So if I took off the Rosa and, if I said Brian shares a telescope with me, that makes sense, right? You wouldn't say, let's say I put I right here. Brian shares a telescope with Rosa and I. Now if you took out the Rosa and I, Rosa, would you say Brian shares a telescope with I? That doesn't make sense, right? So the me comes after the verb. At the park, my friends and I wait for the nighttime sky. You always include the people first and then either I or me, but it depends. I would be kind of like in the beginning, right? Or the subject, because that's the subject. Or me would be for the object pronoun after a verb. At the park, my friends and I wait for the nighttime sky. Now let's just say I eliminated this, right? So I said, at the park, I wait for the nighttime sky. Makes sense. What if I said, at the park, me wait for the nighttime sky? That does not make sense. All right, so practice A. Write the word or words in parentheses that correctly complete each sentence. Rosa invited blank to a star watching party. Rosa invited Adam and I to a star watching party. Rosa invited Adam and me. So let's just see. If I did this one, right? But let's say I just eliminated this part. Rosa invited I to a star watching party. Does that make sense? No. Rosa invited Adam and me. So if I said Rosa invited me, that would make sense. And also, remember, me comes after the verb. Here's the verb. So Rosa invited Adam and me. Number 2, she showed I how to use the telescope. She showed me how to use the telescope. That would be me. Blank found the Big Dipper. I found the Big Dipper. Me found the Big Dipper. I, right? Okay, let's look at practice B. Write I or me to correctly complete each sentence. My twin sister Tina and blank have a telescope. Would it be Tina and me or I? It would be I. Uncle George bought it for Tina and blank last week. So if I took out the Tina and, I would say Uncle George bought it for I last week or bought it for me. That would be me, right? So Tina and me. Mom helped blank assemble it. Mom helped I assemble it. Mom helped me assemble it. All right, turn the page. Practice C. Ray wrote this thank you note to his uncle. He made 7 mistakes when using the pronouns I and me. Use the proofreading marks in the box to correct the errors. Dear Uncle George, Tina and me want to thank you so much for the telescope. Tina and me want to thank you So much for the telescope. Now let's just see if we took out the Tina and. Me want to thank you for the telescope. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, right? So you need to change this to I. It's one mistake. Mom helped I set it up last night. First of all, that just sounds silly, right? Mom helped me. You add me. That's two mistakes. We'll do one more. You couldn't have gotten me and Tina a better present. Do you say yourself first? Nope. You have to put Tina first, right? So remember a proofreading mark, when you switch it, you just go like this. That means that Tina goes here and me goes here. All right, that's 3 of them. All right, practice D. Pairs of related sentences can sound choppy when you read them. Try combining the sentences into one sentence that expresses the same idea. You can combine the sentences below by joining the noun in the subject of the first sentence and the subject pronoun in the second sentence. For example, Tina invited Tim to our Planet Watch party. I invited Tim to our Planet Watch party. Tina and I invited Tim to our Planet Watch party. Sometimes you can combine related sentences by joining the noun that follows the action verb in the first sentence and the object pronoun in the second sentence. Tim thanked Tina. Tim thanked me. Tim thanked Tina and me. So combine each pair of sentences by joining a noun and a pronoun. Dad showed Tim the planet Venus. I showed Tim the planet Venus. How can I combine these two? Dad and I showed Tim the planet Venus. Because if I took off dad and, it would say I showed him, right? So this one would be Dad and I showed Tim. Sorry, it's very sloppy. Tim the. Yes, you have to do all of it. You have to write all of it. Planet Venus. Carrie lent her binoculars to Luke. Carrie lent her binoculars to me. So that would be Carrie lent her binoculars to Luke and me, right? Because it wouldn't be I. If you took off Luke, it would say Carrie lent her binoculars to I. So it would be Carrie lent her binoculars to Luke and me. All right, now do the rest of practice D, C, B, and A. Lesson 38, using I and me.